Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Language Arts Gallery. Today, we're going to finish up talking about writing a book review for young learners. And this is day 5 of this genre of writing. And we're going to talk about the peer review process. And we're going to go over a graphic organizer that our students can use for peer review. So if you haven't already, please remember to subscribe to this channel so you get this video and all my academic writing videos. And you can find the link to this lesson and my other academic writing lessons in my TPT store in the video description. So let's get started talking about peer review. So before I get into the peer review process and talk about examples and non-examples of effective peer review, I always start each mini lesson just with a quick review of the genre of writing that we're covering. So I remind my students that a book review has an introductory sentence where we're introducing the title of the text and the author. We're going to give a short summary of the text, and this is not extensive. It's just what happens in the beginning, the middle, and the end. We're going to give our opinion and tell why we feel that way. Then we're going to make a suggestion as to who we think should read this book. So I will also go over our mentor text, and I'll show them what each of those rhetorical features of our book review look like in the mentor text. We've got that here. And now I want to introduce the peer review process. So our students have already worked together earlier in the lesson in day 3, where they talked about combining sentences. They've read one another's book report. So they should be somewhat familiar with peer review or with buddy reading by this point. But I want to introduce what revision and editing is. So when we revise our work, we're making changes to it. We're moving things around, we're taking things out, we're adding things. When we're editing our work, we're making sure that our spelling, our grammar, our punctuation, all of those things are perfect, right? Because we're going to publish after this lesson. So we want to introduce what does constructive criticism look like? So I've got a non-example here. The second paragraph is unclear and stupid. I don't even know what you're saying, right? Now, of course, my students know that's not how we talk to our classmates, right? So that's an example or a non-example of what constructive criticism looks like. The second sentence, where we say the second paragraph doesn't have enough detail, I would add, and we're going to give a specific suggestion as to how they can make it better. And remember, we don't want to just say, great job, looks good. Even if we think it's perfect, give 1 or 2 suggestions because we can always get better. Okay, so I introduce a table for each section of the essay, and this is going to mirror what my students see with their peer review checklist. And it's got each of the rhetorical features of the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. And in our last lesson, we talked about everything that's included in our conclusion. So then I'm going to ask my students to go back to their seats, and they're going to work through this peer review checklist. They're going to read their partner's writing, and then they're going to work through this checklist. How you choose to pair your students up, that's really up to you. Some teachers like to put their students with the same person they worked with in lesson 3. I personally like to switch up the pairs. It depends on you and your classroom dynamic, but for me, I think it's best if students can see as many different examples of what good writing looks like in this genre, and that's how we learn. So thank you so much for joining me throughout this genre of writing, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video at the Language Arts Gallery.